with their CEO and Tarek over on their co-stream. So I'm sure Doublelift has plenty of stories about the old COG days if he wants to tell them.
Shout out to the co-stream going on over there. I'm sure that they're feeling very happy about how that game 1 went. Maybe a little anxious as well, based on the way it ended.
Relieved, I think, would be the better word. Because I think expectations going into the series was the Sentinels was going to win, but the question was by how much? And then they should have lost that game, man.
Yeah.
Sajed was 5,000 gold ahead on Kai'Sa. Maybe he should have put a little bit of lifesteal somewhere in his build because he did end up getting poked out a fair bit towards the tail end of that game. And then just DSG's inability to play cleanly and cohesively as a unit because they are playing with a substitute jungler and they're also a newly assembled team ended up costing them. And then DARKWINGS really clutched up in some big moments there for Sentinels. And funny thing is there's no pictures on the 1-0. So it's still one more game and you're out of the series no matter how close that game 1 was.
Exactly. We see DSG now on the red side with first pick. They go for Ambessa, banning out the Jace, Varus, and J4. Sentinels ban out the Orianna, Rise, and the Rumble. And let's see what they decide to lock in as the response here. Hovering the Lucian. So maybe a focus on the bottom side here. Things like Lucian, Nami, I've been seeing kind of propping up here and there. It's a great pairing with the Lucian.
Yeah, I like the fact that DSG in both games has just decided that Castle's going to blind pick because they want him to have prio over Impact. They don't think Impact's going to be able to get a good counter pick. And just opens up
they know the draft.
Their draft.
Play Nami. We got a sign right there. And, oh, it's up. Okay. Somebody's about to be very happy if that's locked in. This would be a very early bot lane matchup, but oh, they did it. I'm sorry, fan in the audience. Maybe it's coming later.
It could still come on pick 3. But they want to have a little bit of flexibility in case DSG picks something that is highly counterable here on their 2-3. So top lane picked already. Likely to see jungle, and then they have to expose themselves with something. It'll probably be an AD carry pick before this 1-2-3 is done. Oh, interesting. They just power pick both solo laners right away.
Okay, so, well, keep in mind, it could be Ambessa jungle. We have seen Ambessa jungle creep up here and there. It's one of the changes from the off-season. Things like Malphite and Ambessa, I didn't expect to be junglers, but here we are in 2026 on the current patch. So Aurora could still be going top lane or mid lane, depending on what happens with the rest of Sentinel's draft. I would expect then like an AD carry picked here for DSG to kind of hold that flex for as long as possible.
Yeah, not to mention they'll still be able to, in theory, counterpick support a little bit, but support will get fairly targeted with bans in the 4-5. Yunara, one of the most picked AD carries on the patch, so no big surprises there in the draft. And Nami looks to be locked in.
There we go!
As well.
Yeah! There we go. And the crowd goes mild for it. There we go. Oh, now, okay, there we go. There we go. Now they're having fun with it. All right, so Lucian, Nami, a bot lane into the Yunara. DSG will have to find a support that will help keep the Yunara you know, alive, but also powerful enough, because when I think of Yunara, I initially, when I saw her on release, was like, oh, she can be like a scaling AD carry. I was shocked at how aggressive you can play Yunara in the 2v2 from level 1, because your Q alone and your passive, you have so much power. So they could still go for something to try and answer the Lucian Nami, even though that's a little scary to think about, because they're a very powerful duo.
Oh, for sure, but Lucian Nami also doesn't necessarily get that strong until a couple of levels in.
Okay.
So there's potential for some fist fighting in the bottom side, and I do wonder how Rahel actually is dealing mentally after that game 1, because he was getting slaughtered that game, made what could have been the game-losing mistake getting picked in the top lane if DARKWINGS didn't bail them out. So he's the big one for me that really needs to step up in this game 2 for Sentinels.
Now on a also AD carry that notoriously can get punished if you're out of position. You have one mobility spell, but you're still relatively short range outside of your ultimate, so can be tough to play into things like the Aurora, things like the Ambessa already that can try and dive on top of you as an AD carry. They're going to ban away the Nautilus and the Lulu, so an Enchanter plus an engaged support. Meanwhile, DSG will ban out some mid laners. We got Syndra and a Victor taken off the table, and now Sentinels get to pick for themselves. Solo lanes are the name of the game for them here, so we'll see what they want to lock in. Currently hovering the Cassiopeia.
They're trying to target ban DARKWINGS a little bit, because if there would be one criticism on his champion pool, it's that he only plays control mages, even if he plays some of the more unconventional ones. So Cassiopeia ends up being what's locked in with boots. Have to buy boots now on Cassiopeia.
That threw me off. Why do you think they changed that? Did you have any insight from the
yeah, because of the role quest. They didn't want to just give Cassiopeia like extra stats when the quest was completed, which I think would have been the better choice. You can't wear boots as Cassio.
As a snake.
Yeah. Oh,
There's still always the argument that Vel'Koz should also probably not buy boots then, by that logic. But, you know, we don't want to open that can of worms here. It's going to be Wukong locked in with the Rakan. So what this team was lacking was hard engage. Now they got it.
I was just getting a download of stats in my ears, so I couldn't necessarily hear you.
All right. I was trying to pass it off to you, be like, hey, talk about Rakan, but I can talk about Rakan as well.
I know.
Not going to be that early game power that I expected with the Yunara to try and like bully the Lucian and the Nami, but maybe you still can find a cheeky W and to find a pick.
Yeah, it was something about Sajed's CS in the first game being extremely high.
Yeah?
But that's all I could make out.
Okay, but did they also confirm that he is the all-time global leader of rookies with gold in the game?
I mean, I confirmed that when I said it.
I'm just going to confirm that now.
Until it gets
that's just truth in my brain.
It's absolutely true.
But either way, it's going to be Gwen as the final pick here for Sentinels. So AP solo laners for Impact and DARKWINGS, and we do know with the Wukong lock-in, it is not Ambessa jungle, it will be Ambessa top lane. So Sentinels, they were able to get a counter pick for Impact last time around. It was the kind of like Cassante hold the line against Renekton, but he still got a solo kill.
He did.
Now he gets a proper carry counter pick.
His Gwen was hit or miss last year.
Yeah.
When it became a really big meta pick in the LCK, Team Liquid started first picking it, and then that was coinciding with some other issues with the Team Liquid team, so ended up losing a lot of games on Gwen, but it's something he definitely wants to be able to add to his champion pool for this year.
For this year, eyes will be on Impact. Does he look better than last year? Right now, though, DSG backs against the wall. Need to pick up 2 wins in a row to get their first series win. Meanwhile, Sentinels, the newest org in the LCS, starting off strong with a Game 1 win over their opponents. Game 2 of DSG versus Sentinels starts right now.
And I got the stat.
You got the stat.
I actually like the stat. It's another Sajed-related stat, as we might
have to get
see
back
a
to that.
fist fight at level 1.
Yeah, I was saying level 1s are less popular because of how early the waves spawn, but Kisno does get to safety.
And you gotta run back right away. So it's the 5th highest CS in an NA debut game ever. Ever. But listen to who he's behind. This is what I actually find interesting.
I'm gonna guess Wild
this.
Turtle.
Power of Evil, Freeze, Alex Itch, and Kobe from TSM.
Yeah.
4 European imports. So it's actually the most CS in a North American's NA debut game ever.
There we go. We found the loophole.
NA talent, baby.
NA talent. Sajed with a great Game 1. Still was not able to pick up the win, but got the lead over his lane opponent. Now can he do it again? Sentinels currently here with a slight push in that bottom side, so it's looking like the level 1 is going their way. But I want to do some table setting for these compositions as well, Jatt, just like we did for game number 1. It was very clear in game 1 that DSG needed to win early game. Sentinels had the scaling. What do you think about game number 2 and the pivots that each team has made?
I mean, both teams are very squishy. We don't have the same type of Cassante, Alistar frontline or like the Kai'Sa one-shot. I'd say the engage is still slightly more in favor of DSG. They have the better trigger pool. Lyonz is Rakan, definitely there, but also just like Aurora Wukong is a combo that 100 Thieves was dominating with last year when River Quid were playing it so much. And then on the side of Sentinels, while they do have some good scaling, like Gwen and Cassio both really pump damage, neither one of them are really bringing that much CC. Vi's a single point and click CC as Calmle is trying to kill DARKWINGS.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting a massive lead over DARKWINGS in this early game.
And then Lucian Nami is also more of like whittling you out. So the snap engage isn't there. Calmle wants the big play, can't get it.
Honestly, respect for attempting, thinking if DARKWINGS is window shopping, you have a chance. DARKWINGS, though, trades Flash and will now get the wave in himself. So, you know, again, respect the Calmle for the attempt. Not going to find it, though.
Yeah, they'll both likely just trade TPs to get back to lane. DARKWINGS is likely okay with that trade. Vi's early gank and Wukong's early gank both fairly threatening, so look for more action in the mid lane now that both mid laners have no flash.
Both of them will TP. I was wondering, will either one choose to not TP? Because with the home guards change, you're able to get in so fast as Rahel actually avoids the grand entrance from Lyonz. Just steps barely over that circle, and we'll get a good chunk onto Sajed.
Yeah, HamBak thinking about a dive. It's completely on vision, though. Barrier and heal up. This would be difficult to execute, but it looks like Sentinels want it anyway.
They have a big wave, so they will commit to it. It's Rahel getting big damage in onto Sajed. Huhi was taken up first. Now HamBak taking up afterwards, but gets out of range, and Sentinels are fine.
And DARKWINGS is dead.
In the mid lane, though. First blood is picked up. DSG finding the play mid, while looks like Sentinels were not able to find theirs bot.
Well, that's the danger when you show as a jungler, is it lets the other jungler go wherever he wants without any fear of counter gank. So knowing that mid lane was no flash, he makes the repeat gank. And then not only was it going to be a difficult gank with heal, barrier, and both flashes up for the side of DSG, HamBak's VIQ just gets straight up interrupted by Lyonz' Rakan, so the gank fails miserably. Another good early start here for DSG.
Yeah, solid DSG jungle path here from Kisno. Last game on the Pantheon, it took him a while to actually get onto the map and make action happen, but this time around on the Wukong, of all things. Typically don't really see Wukong ganks until you're level 6, but like you had highlighted, no flash on the mid lane meant that it was much easier to pull off. Now also gold on Kisno. Let's see what he's able to do with it this time around.
Yeah, another attempt to prove himself. This is really an interesting debut for the LCS because we know he's not going to be the long-term starter once Kryra is able to join the team, but it's definitely a great job to secure a future if you're able to have some big games. And Lyonz diving over the bubble for a big trade onto huhi, playing pretty aggressive.
And Kisno's just going to go back again. Still no flash on DARKWINGS. And a second kill onto DSG's jungler.
I mean, I think it's worth asking the question is if he should buy boots to walk away from these ganks a little bit faster on the Cassiopeia.
Now that it's an option, you know?
No, he shouldn't have been there. I mean, this was a good gank once again by Kisno's Wukong that just starts to snowball this lane.
Yeah, and Kisno also waving. I haven't mentioned this yet, but when you look at the Tier 2 players, a lot of them have played with each other at one time or another. DARKWINGS and Kisno actually were on the same roster last year for Conviction. So Kisno waving to his old teammate saying, yeah, I'll take 2 kills from you. And that means that Calmle also gets a CS lead, but HamBak will get the first Dragon. So even though we've seen multiple kills on the Kisno, objective lead starts off with Sentinels.
Yeah, it makes sense. All the tempo was used by Kisno to gank mid, so HamBak can go take the Dragon, not to mention Vi kills Dragon very fast and very safely with the % health damage that Vi has, so nicely done there by HamBak, even if his gank was a big miss.
And we see the bot lane CS differential going the complete opposite from last game. Rahel has mounted a sizable lead over Sajed. So even though Sajed and Lyonz were not, they were able to hold the line from that gank, that dive attempt earlier, they have not been able to equalize the lane state.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, I don't know completely behind the scenes, but from other AD carries that I've worked with in the past, if you have a bad matchup in game 1 and you fall really far down in CS, you need to pick a winning matchup in game 2. Like, it's, your ego is on the line right there. So I think that's why they're going Lucian Nami and playing ultra aggressive, pathing down bottom lane. Like, it's to their detriment even going for that initial dive, but it's one of those things where, no, we're going to try and put this other bot lane in the dirt after what they did to us in game 1.
Yeah, especially after the rookie is able to get the highest CS ever of a debut rookie. NA players.
Of a North American debut.
Of a North American, yeah, exactly, yeah. DARKWINGS hits level 6 on the mid lane finally. Calmle does still have a experience advantage slightly right now. DARKWINGS should catch this soon here after some of these minions. But the big thing that I look at is anytime the Wukong hits level 6, and now Kisno has hit level 6, Wukong has ultimate available, and this is when the Wukong ganks can really start to become lethal. And still technically no flash on DARKWINGS. It's going to be up maybe about 30 seconds here.
Another thing that I feel like, I didn't watch the first series super closely for this exact thing, but I don't think a jungler has gone top.
Yeah?
It's
just been
the first 14 minutes of any of our 4 games.
Which is counter to what I expected could happen because of how impactful top lane can be if you can get a lead now.
Yeah, but to me, it's about that little Phalite. You just throw one ward down, and you got these big fat walls. It just seems like this kind of ungankable lane, and it ends up being in complete isolation. So Castle and Impact are just having a grand old time fist-fighting each other and not worrying at all about where the junglers are.
But Impact is, again, slight lead for himself there, about a wave up. Now that will get pushed in by Castle. But the question on my mind was still, which version of Impact will we get? 2024 MVP or 2025, you know, really rough year overall. And in the debut, I mean, he gets a solo kill in game 1 and now already holding his own with a maybe slight lead here in the top lane.
Yep. Absolutely good tank play from him in that first game. Hard to make more of a difference on Cassandra than getting a solo kill and being a level 20 max item tank.
Kisno will now start up the grubs, and Vi's on the bottom side, so HamBak not in the same neighborhood. We'll be giving this one up.
Buddy, you gotta help out this AD carry. His ego's on the line. Like he was down in game 1.
Oh, Sajed's
already 30
5.
CS up. We're gonna put him in the dirt. It's also bad for him to be top lane against the 2-kill Wukong who has ultimate. But they're completely on top of the ward.
Sajed is still level 5. Lyonz is level 6. Calmle has hovered to help out, and now they're just going to flash engage themselves, trying to lock down huhi. Calmle will get in there and pick up a 3rd kill for DSG.
Nice job there by Calmle. No vision sweeping by Sentinels when they're going for that dive. I think questionable play to wait that long.
It might be more. Rahel has the flash available, has the barrier available. We'll need to use either one. Lyonz tried to predict as Rahel says, no, I'm just going to hold my line and doesn't have to use anything. Meanwhile, here comes HamBak. DSG could be in some trouble. The flash hits on the Lyonz, and Rahel picks up the 1st kill of game 2 for Sentinels.
I mean, even if Sentinels isn't super happy with that play, Rahel's very happy with this play because he's not the one who died. The kill didn't go to anyone in his lane, and now look at this, he's 37 CS, 900 gold up, and it's only going to increase as he's going to shove in this cannon wave and then likely reset to go for a buy with about 13 to 1400 gold.
Sajed very far behind right now in this bottom lane matchup. And that's, yes, you've been hovered a lot from HamBak. That's 2 dive setups, 1 attempt. But either way, not the best start considering how well Sajed was able to play in game number 1. Castle pushes in a wave topside. We'll get 1 plate right there as Impact looks like he's going to have to reset. Does have the TP summoner spell to get back.
Absolutely, and you can see Essence Reaver being completed by Rahel. Meanwhile, the Cull on the other side. So it's no early combat power there for Yunara. And HamBak is going to want to continue to play around bot side, so I like that DSG finally has a little bit of vision there to have better defense.
So Impact stayed for another wave. I do want to highlight, though, Rahel, yes, has the 1st item, but so does Kisno. Wukong Trinity Force Power Spike is pretty big, and I was wondering, do they go for the Dragon? Sentinels have the Power Spike in their bottom laner, but this Wukong does have a lead over Vi. Also, HamBak no ultimate from that earlier play, so DSG will deny the Dragon stacking and get one for themselves. Here is Rahel, big damage on the Lyonz, who now just goes for the re-engage here. Double charm up onto huhi and Rahel. The Culling goes out, as well as the Nami ultimate. Bubble lands. Sajed cannot follow up on Lyonz's engage. So DSG do not find the play, and that actually de-leashed the Dragon. It was not secured.
Yep, that was something where Kisno's going to be really sad he left the Dragon there, because Rahel has the Essence Reaver, is going to play super aggressive, but unless Kisno is in gank position when he goes in, he's just too far away to be able to make an approach. They didn't even get a summoner spell out of Rahel's Lucian, so yes, they get the Dragon. I think they're always going to get the Dragon with that Trinity Force Wukong, and now HamBak. So our first top gank ever.
Yeah, we have a TP coming in as well. The Needlework was already used from Impact. He does not have the ultimate available as the public execution will miss. That's a flash from Castle. Teleport coming in as well from DARKWINGS. It's going to be underneath the turret, but he is fine, okay? There was a lot that just went down there.
They're just all too tanky. This is why you don't go top lane. You're never going to get the kill. They missed everything on everyone.
Whew, that was a fun one right there. Yeah.
Nobody's punished.
But Castle does have TP, and we find a pick in the jungle! HamBak caught out as Kisno with his mid laner will find a kill.
Yeah, nice pick there by Kisno, making the most after everyone's trying to retreat from that top play.
Castle says, get out of here. Ooh, Kisno has to flash away from DARKWINGS, though. Petrifying Gaze still available. DARKWINGS is very strong with that ultimate available, and Rod of Ages completed, but not strong enough. He wants to catch his mid wave, and that will be a blue buff stolen by Kisno. And now Calmle. Ooh. Yeah?
I faked myself out a little bit. I'm like, did they stop Cassio from being able to buy boots? Because I feel like he should really be buying them soon.
Well, he's got to get the Rod of Ages stacking. He's got to get the tier
stacking. Did they change it in 26.2 and I just didn't read it? I don't think they did.
I would have missed that as well. I'm assuming that we will get that eventually.
It's time for boots, DARKWINGS.
No, okay, but if... now the real concern is, does DARKWINGS know? Because I've heard so many stories of players not reading the patch notes.
There's no way.
Surely there's no way. Golden Glue would have told him. Surely.
Yeah. You keep casting. I'm going to double check the patch notes.
All right. I'll keep taking a look at what's happening on the map right now. We'll have the Herald in about 2 minutes' time. So Sentinels still hold a bit of a current map lead just by rotating a little faster, but they do not have the gold lead anymore. DSG have managed to equalize that, with gold being on their jungler and mid laner. Meanwhile, for Sentinels, it's isolated more on their bot side. Rahel picked up that 1 kill. So DSG, considering it's 4-1 in kills, don't actually have that big of a lead over their opponent. Just being, I guess, ahead in the grubs department right there. Did I buy you enough time, Jatt? Were you able to take a look?
I'm like so sure that she can buy boots.
Let's pull the audience. Audience, say yay if you think Cass can buy boots. That's a resound.
Yeah, she can definitely buy boots. Why doesn't he have boots?
Say yay if you think DARKWINGS is going to buy boots this game.
That was less yays. No confidence. He was the player of the game last game. He should know boots. He's going to buy him now.
I have faith in
He's going to put an end to this. He's got 800 gold.
Yeah.
He's about to buy boots.
Okay, back in.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
No, he's staying for another wave.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
This is really delaying things. He's just so slow.
Yeah. We're waiting for it. Taking some damage from Calmle right there. And it's tough to lane against the Aurora at this point, who has Malignance completed, plus upgraded boots. So Calmle definitely picking those ones up.
You can definitely buy boots. Yeah, guaranteed. Someone in the stands just said
I really hope the mic picked that up. Although Cass doesn't have toes.
No?
Yeah, we're not going to get into this topic, actually. Let's get off that real fast. Sentinels pushing in another wave here in the mid lane. Kisno ready for a potential play. Could use a playful trickster over the wall. Has a Cyclone. Not going to go for it. I'm just going to ignore whatever they're shouting now, because I'm assuming it's nothing worth sharing on broadcast. Engage from Lyonz now onto Rahel, but Kisno wasn't ready on a bubble from huhi to keep him alive, but in comes Calmle. Rahel's still alive.
Wow.
Rahel holds the line. HamBak with the kill and the punish.
That's crazy. The angle was actually so good for DSG, but Sentinels is able to outplay it. The biggest thing is the bubble onto the Wukong.
That was incredible.
Before he'd be able to engage on Rahel. That would have been enough damage on top of the Aurora damage to get the kill, but it just makes Rahel
he still has it though!
He's all now.
Rahel stuck around for another wave and is punished. Kisno with a blast cone. Playful trickster gets in range to Cyclone.
He built boots.
He built boots!
I'm sorry, I didn't respect your game. You definitely read the patch notes.
And you should feel ashamed, audience members who didn't believe in him. There we go. Tier 2 picked up. Sentinels, they were able to hold the line for Rahel for a brief moment, but him dying there is tough. It gives Sajed a window here to get some more CS. Let's get another look at that play. I believe this was the first engage.
Yeah, I mean, dashes in, Lyonz is ready to absolutely snap engage him, so he's completely trying to punish Rahel, who's playing super aggressive, but that bubble is ultimately what saves the life of Rahel. He then gets the kill back onto Calmle, but he stuck around and got killed the second time around.
I think Golden Glue's going to have a little less hair by the end of this series. That might have been the reaction to
this play after he'd survived it, where good night Lucian. Still very far ahead, about 600 gold ahead of his counterpart. And they're going to continue to give gold into this Lucian. This should be first turf for him.
Yeah. The Herald will charge in. Rahel will pick that up, get another wave here. And I understand moments like that as an AD carry, you think you have your support near enough, but it was such a fast play. But can Castle survive this play? Actually goes for the wave. 1v1's Impact has his own wave behind him. Impact's going to try and snip, clear this one out. We have a Nami coming up as well. TP could cover from Calmle, but he's 1v1ing DARKWINGS bot side with Kisno. Ooh. We got 2 dives happening at the same time. The Nami will again. Public execution misses from Castle. He's taking too much damage, but he's got the Castle Lyonz! DSG support will save the life of the top laner. Body blocks, HamBak's Vault Breaker. Sentinels cannot kill the Ambessa.
I mean, both sides that were defending the dive played it very well. DARKWINGS, even though it looked like he was completely out of cooldowns, had a perfect flash on the Wukong E to make it so he couldn't get followed up by the Wukong R. And then Castle right there is just able to do Eclipse Ambessa things where the shields just keep coming. And I'd say Lyonz as well, just body blocking the Vi Q throughout the end of it. Very well played there on both sides.
Yeah, sometimes even if you don't have CC, you can just stand between the enemy jungler and your top laner. HamBak getting some damage on the Kisno, but in comes the Cyclone. Calmle's there, they gotta kill this fast. TP answer, DARKWINGS is there, trying to get damage on the Calmle as Rahel and huhi are even nearby. But Calmle will make it to safety for now. Sentinels, do they want to push? Backsplash from Impact! Not gonna find it! Calmle's out of there.
What a great escape right there. Impact, burning flash, and teleport, and coming away with absolutely nothing. The overall map pressure still looked like it was in the favor of Sentinels, but they expended so much on that play, and now DSG are the first ones back on the map, so Calmle able to get a free wave top, and Sajed is just pushing mid lane, getting closer and closer to that Lucian's power.
Ooh, another close game, Jatt. Game number 1, DSG.
LCS, baby.
Came in with a lead. Sentinels were able to equalize it. It was a banger. And this time around, Sentinels, they still have the turret lead, but the gold and the objectives in favor of DSG. Gold's about even, but they have the grubs and now 1 extra dragon on top of it. So, I mean, we kind of came in. It was a rivalry for some of the players, maybe, because 3/5 of the roster went over to DSG, but or rather went over to Sentinels. I didn't think it was going to be a close match, though, as now another play from DSG on the DARKWINGS. Calmle getting fed. 3-1 and 2 on the Aurora.
They have better trigger pull on the side of DSG. They have more hard engage, and also this game they're playing well together in terms of creating numbers advantages, so they can just kind of go all in on these plays, dump all their cooldowns, and secure kills, and that's the 3rd time they've been able to punish DARKWINGS this game.
Calmle's having a fantastic performance on this Aurora. Kisno's having a fantastic performance on the Wukong. Castle's dancing on him.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Kisno, man. Coming in, short-term substitution right here. Had a pretty solid early game on the Pantheon. There's going to be a lot of things he regrets about that first game, but it was more the team not being able to close it. Helped get his AD carry super fed, and here, back-to-back ganks in mid lane, gives him the 2 kills. Good objective control. Really playing well on Wukong.
3-0 and 2, incredible performance. And also, we haven't talked too much about Calmle, so I just want to give some information for anybody might not be as aware of a newer player coming into the LCS. Joining us from the TCL, where he was playing most recently for a team called Misa, with Closer, actually, jungler that should be known to North American audiences. Before that, he was in the Nongshim pipeline over in LCK. So he's definitely got experience under his belt, and he is showing that experience right now with a big lead in the mid lane, but DARKWINGS still trying his best to find something on the castle there.
Yeah, and even though DARKWINGS, wow, look at that road he's taken. Another KT roster.
Yeah, there's so many. We're just collecting them at this point. There's actually a really funny web between Castle, Calmle, HamBak, and Rahel. If we have more downtime, maybe I'll have a chance to kind of explain that. But there was one tournament where Rahel basically just smashed all of them. So, yeah, you know.
Okay.
Shout out Leaguepedia. You can just find random facts like that on there.
Called the LCS lock-in tournament, but we'll see. We'll see if he's able to do it. Hasn't been smashing so far this series, that's for sure. But really trying his best here in game 2. 220 CS, a lot of resources going towards him. Going to be hitting Infinity Edge very soon. Got a ton of power on this Electrocute Lucian, which is again more lane focused. Really wanted to win this lane in a big way, and the map pressure is starting to move back towards Sentinels, and it's because of this Lucian Nami that's in the mid lane. DSG can't step up on that wave, so they always get mid push first, and then they can move to sides.
Castle fancies himself a 1v1, has a level up over DARKWINGS. Petrifying Gaze available. He's going to have to play it correctly, though. Throws out his dodge!
Wow.
Castle with the sidestep and the solo kill.
Really nice movement there from Castle. Merktread's Hexdrinker as well just makes it so that Cassio damage doesn't even seem like it's happening after the normal Ambessa shields and the Eclipse. So Castle just completely wrecks DARKWINGS here.
It was a double AP solo lane draft from Sentinel. So you know whichever one you're going to be up against in lane, MR will be high value. Yeah. Love this from Castle.
Until Lucian arrives. So it's really going to be on Lucian to try and carry this game, because you can see, like, Castle's going to win both side lanes. Yeah. Makes the game super interesting that Sentinels is always getting pushed mid, but then Castle kind of beats everyone inside, at least at this stage in the game.
Castle having a great performance here in game 2. 1-0-1 with a bit of a lead as Rahel the focus, but not going to go down. Teleport in from DARKWINGS right now. He doesn't have the team fully behind him, so now Sentinels have to walk up, and they will push DSG back. DARKWINGS, big damage. He's got home guards there, plus the boots finish, but not fast enough. DSG will be able to back off as, ooh, that looks like another TP.
Yeah, Drake's up in 10 seconds, so they're trying to get everybody here. Rahel's going to go for a fight mid.
Yeah, I mean, this Colin's big. It has to flash away. Kisno trying to get the safety, but Rahel's coming in. The walls are closing in. HamBak locking Kisno down for long enough. And that is a kill picked up. It's traded back. Jungler for jungler as Lyonz now trying to keep Castle alive. Another sidestep with the Petrifying Gaze. DARKWINGS just can't land them. Calmle's now joined in on the fight. The solo laners for DSG are holding the line. Double kill to Rahel. He just cannot go down. for both teams.
These fights are crazy, Kangas. They go all in mid lane as Dragon's about to spawn in 10 seconds. So they see the TP channeling bot lane and say, our time is now, we're gonna fight. And they just send it all the way on to Wukong. You can see Rahel zoning off Lyonz, goes pretty deep on the middle of the map here, but then if Castle lands that first Ambessa ult on a DARKWINGS, I think it's a different story.
Yeah.
He's a little slow on this approach, so they take their time killing him. Another perfect pixel dodge by Castle there on the Cassio ultimate. He lasts a long time, and then this is where the fight gets extremely crazy. Yunara on the backside falls to Rahel, just getting a couple of crits. And then at the very end here, Rahel rejoins it. And this is everyone's face watching this fight. So I can't believe what's happening.
But shout out to Rahel. You were the first one to point it out when you're a pro AD carry and you get smashed by a rookie like that. You got a chip on your shoulder. 3-1-2, he played that fight beautifully with a sliver of a health bar, sticking around for much longer than I would have expected. But it was basically a wash for both teams. The gold is still about where it was. DSG have a lead. They have 3 dragons now, plus the grub. So they are still in an advantaged position. Sentinels will get their 4th turret, though. That's really the only metric that they're ahead in. Maybe they're ahead in finding picks. Now Lyonz gets safety. Yeah.
Dragon going over to DSG in the aftermath of that fight is pretty big because it puts them on soul point. The Infinity Edge is also really big for Rahel because at this point now, if he gets a little bit of Nami speed and gets a quick Lucian combo off on pretty much anyone, now he's starting to threaten lethal damage.
Yeah.
So he's got to play extremely well, but he's down both flash and barrier, so it's a push and pull. If he does dash forward at this point, Lyonz would be able to get him because he can't answer with flash. So once his flash comes back up, it'll be interesting to see if he's still far enough ahead to play extremely aggressively.
I imagine he will have that flash by the time Dragon is up. We have 4 minutes. Yeah, he should have that flash in no time. So DSG, I mean, if they can force the issue, go for the Baron buff right now. Sentinels, they don't have their Gwen with them. TP could come up. And Castle's pushing another wave here mid. Sentinels will try and catch that one, but it's still focused on the Baron. Castle just trying to keep Rahel away from the fight. Calmle as well! Finds the pop on a huhi. Castle getting kited by Rahel, who will stay alive. The Lucian just won't go down. HamBak throws his life away. Kisno will be traded. It's jungler for jungler, support for top. Sentinels coming out a little ahead, but with Rahel down a health bar, they have to back off.
Jeez, that was a level 17 Ambessa trying to carry the game there, but he had a Maw and Mercury treads against a 3-item Lucian, so he ends up barely losing that duel. And then I think at the very end, Kisno saw it was 4v3, probably wanted to keep fighting, but I think could have just kept clicking backwards to give them the 2-for-1. Instead, it ends up being a trade in the favor of Sentinels. So, I mean, Castle sees his angles, thinks he's unstoppable at this stage in the game, and does a good job keeping Rahel, Impact, and huhi pretty much out of the fight. Gives him more time. This is where you'd want DSG to maybe walk away or at least make Sentinels keep chasing because Rahel was so low, but it ends up just giving Rahel a little bit of extra gold now, working towards that 4th full item.
Close to finishing that one here as he has a 1.7k gold lead over Sajed. The Baron was the bait there from DSG. Oh, now they might just be able to capitalize again. Still no flash on Rahel, and that's a little more damage from Calmle than we saw from Castle. Absolutely bursted down. Calmle putting the game on his shoulders.
Storm Surge has procced, and it is completely one-shot Rahel, who's going full damage, no MR, and that was through barrier from the looks of it as well. So massive burst. Might turn into a Baron start once again here by DSG.
Rahel's all the gold right now, so they can try and contest. They will TP in. They have Gwen going into the mid lane. DSG's answering on the top side here. About half health. That's a flash dodge for DARKWINGS, but everyone's still trying to pile on. But Impact trying to be the front line now. Keep everybody away from the Cassiopeia. Sentinels playing this fight beautifully, keeping DARKWINGS alive. Petrifying Gaze out of 2. HamBak back on the Kisno, dodges away from the Cyclone. So DSG just not fighting their engagement, but they got the knock out of DARKWINGS. Lyonz found the Cassiopeia. HamBak did not have the snake behind him, so he will die. And DSG find themselves a team fight win.
2 kills, very low. Don't know if they're going to start Baron again because Rahel is now alive. You could tell the plan was very clearly by DSG. Make them come in and let's win the fight, but they couldn't quite get the right angle. I think it took them a little longer than they wanted to kill DARKWINGS and HamBak. Still a good play, but could have been better. Watching it one more time, they didn't really wait for Sentinels to get super close to the Baron, so the engage didn't end up being clean. At this stage, it actually looked a little questionable. Then you remembered one team has an AD carry and the other AD carry is in Fountain, so DSG is able to turn this around. At the very end of it, DARKWINGS falls for the 6th time this game, and HamBak falls as well.
Good start of the fight for Sentinels. If they just played around DARKWINGS, maybe they find something else, but it was a 5v4. That was going to be a tough play anyway, but it did stop the Baron yet again. DSG have now used that as a magnet twice, one time with a number advantage. And we see, even though DARKWINGS went down, he did so much damage at DSG, we're not able to stick around and go for the objective afterwards. Now Sentinels are actually the team looking at it.
I mean, there are all ultimates up except for Wukong ultimate, which will be up in 8 seconds. Sentinels in a dangerous spot.
Castle has the ultimate available. Flash from Rahel, but it goes Calmle shut down. Rahel does not get popped this time. Castle can't find him. He's looking to get onto the Lucian. He takes the blast code away. Rahel doesn't have the damage anymore. And now DSG can clean up the rest of the members. The Lucian flew out of the fight, but he flies back in. Double kill to the Wukong, but Rahel is still alive. If he can kite back, maybe he can find the miracle. But Kisno, the emergency sub with the triple kill and the ace.
7-kill Wukong, and this is a replay of one of the Baron fights. We're watching it. It's the one we just saw, and it's just an incredibly risky Baron by Sentinels. They don't have flank vision. Baron has 20,000 health, so they can't burst it quickly, and huhi just instantly gets deleted. Rahel on the outside here gets blasted away by the super blast cone and tries his best to carry this fight from the back end, has a nice sidestep, but ultimately it's a Wukong with a fully stacked passive, so he's going to get the chase down, and I believe this is Chemsoul now in the aftermath of this fight, which is going to make it even more difficult for Sentinels to win.
And that was Kisno on your screen right there, chuckling to himself, an emergency substitute. It was supposed to be Kryra. They couldn't get him in time, so Sajed said, I know a guy. And what a showing from Kisno so far. He had a decent game 1, but an incredible game 2 here on the Wukong.
So let's take stock here. Really fed Wukong, extremely fed Aurora, and then very burstable carries. Low mobility Cassiopeia, who's been kept down this whole game, and a complete glass cannon on the Lucian. So I think DSG, if they can get an engage onto Rahel, the game is over.
Rahel's got to be very careful right now. He's building some lifesteal, so he can, if he gets chunked, try and heal back up, but it's not poke he's got to deal with, it's burst, and here comes the burst. The ultimate from Ambessa misses. Calmle can't get the damage. Rahel is alive. Lyonz goes in, but where's the follow-up? Rahel's knocked up, but there's just no damage behind it. And now that's GA from Kisno. Impact buying a lot of space for Sentinels to try and stop the Wukong. He'll trade his life for the support. Shut down to Impact. Kisno finds something for his trouble.
This is a really good series. These fights are just absolutely non-stop, and they're all about the outplay. So Rahel is able to avoid this version of the full send, where it didn't even look like Calmle landed anything. It almost like he didn't take damage. He also early barriered, so... And the Mikhail's also was used at some point in this fight from huhi, so Rahel just, he played that beautifully.
Castle also has not been able to land these public executions onto Lucian. It's tough. Lucian with that E ability, Relentless Pursuit, can get you out of danger, and it's a decent long cast time as HamBak will see Castle.
Baron's still alive, so Sentinels are just redeploying, and they're going to try and take this 5v4.
Castle's getting chased away, and he will make it back to safety, but it has been a battle in the top river. So much action happening here, and no one's been able to get a big enough lead from it to actually execute on the Purple Worm, despite DSG having that Dragon Soul. 4 minutes until Elder. I expect even more action around this top half, so it comes down to vision. There's a lot for DSG.
And something we haven't talked about at all that I'm just noticing now is Impact is actually really fed. Somehow Castle's 2,000 gold down. Dusk of Dawn is probably the most broken item in the game currently. Gwen's a great user of it, and on 3.5 items, if they don't catch Impact as well as Rahel, then they could still be in for a lot of pain.
And we saw what he was able to do. Ooh, bubble over the wall into Lyonz. He's built relatively tanky though, so they want to all commit into it, and now the public execution does land! They got Rahel! The AD carries down. Calmle's in some trouble. Impact is getting bursted. Double kill the castle. Shut down for the triple as HamBak's got to retreat. DARKWINGS flashes away. DSG trade their mid laner for 3.
Interesting decision. They might have had a chance to run down mid lane and get a lot, but I think Baron is the correct call here. With Soul already acquired, this is going to be their 3rd Baron of the series.
Yep.
We'll see if it can lead to their first win.
This is a much later Baron last time around. By this point in game 1, they had 2. Now it's their first one because of how much Sentinels has made them work for it. But with a 4,000 gold lead and team fights like this, DSG might just be able to pull it off.
Yeah. Right there, able to land it on Rahel, and that's when everyone flies in. This time, Lyonz combo, so there's no way of dodging. You can see Calmle took a bunch of damage from Impact right afterwards, but then everyone's able to get close enough to just burst down Impact's Gwen as well and finish off the fight.
And that's flashes out from HamBak, flashes out from DARKWINGS. So even around this Elder Dragon fight, you won't have flash on your big engage, you won't have flash on your low mobility AP Mage mid laner. Sentinel's job is only going to get harder here as DSG will use this Baron to push in some waves. Big damage there on the turret as Castle will push in this bottom side. Sentinels have 5 members grouped though. Maybe they look for a snap engage here. DSG will back off as they only have the cannon minion.
I mean, Sajed is really not behind anymore at this stage in the game. You can see 4 full items working on his 5th. That's
Top lane
the same as Rahel.
With the triple kill to Castle, you were highlighting it was back. Like a 2K gold lead, but now Castle actually has the lead over Impact, but he is slightly isolated. In comes Impact, in comes HamBak. No flash on the Vi. He's got to chase him down. Impact's looking for the slow. Castle has a lot of magic resist, and in comes Lion to back him up. Impact has to flash to safety as Nami will cover the retreat. DSG have multiple members, but Sentinels will get out. They were looking for a pick, and it shows now how much stronger Castle is. Impact can no longer just hard win that 1v1.
Definitely not. 1 minute until the Elder fight. We're going to have another one. 2 Elder fights in 2 games between, I guess, I don't want to call Sentinels old DSG because Sentinels is a new team.
They are a new team.
But that's how DSG sees it.
And the CEO is watching right now, so I would advise against that as well.
They're old Phoenix 1.
Ah, true.
Yeah, they got pieces. They got pieces of a lot of old teams for a new team. But just looking at this game, I wonder if they can clutch it up once again. Last game, they were able to win through experience and late game team fighting. It looks like they're in a bigger deficit now as DSG is just trying to take control of the jungle here and set up for Elder.
And 2 of the bigger differences from last game to this game. DARKWINGS not having a pop-off performance on the cast compared to the Azir, and huhi is not on this primary engage support that can really find that play. Both of those things were in Sentinel's favor last time around. Now DSG don't have to worry about a huhi flank. They don't have to worry about DARKWINGS, you know, on this really, you know, kind of like quasi-engage mid laner here that can find his own plays. Petrifying Gaze is a more defensive tool. So, Dragon, though, coming up in 5 seconds. That's going to be the big fight.
All right, Death Dance completed for the Ambessa. Still sitting on a few components for Yunara, but really just look to see who they can one-shot at the start of the fight. They're going for HamBak.
Yeah, he's got the Guardian Angel, but Calmle sees huhi and just tries to pop the Nami. Not enough damage. In comes the teleport. Castle find a lot of space. DARKWINGS misses the Petrifying Gaze again, and Calmle lives! Almost burning down. Rahel's trying to get the damage. Impact needs to be the hero for Sentinels, but a double kill to Sajed. Rahel just can't get in range. The flash, the W, he finds it. Rahel will get 1, but that's 1 for 4. DSG are going to make the march through mid lane.
At what cost? They don't even need the Elder. Rahel would have to 1v4. It looks like DSG is going to send us to a game 3.
I mean, he's got to look for some miracle here. Get onto the wave. He dodges Lyonz engage again, but there's just too many members. The ace for Kisno, and what a debut for a young roster. They have the wave. They have the death timers. DSG have won game number 2. They have equalized the series, and Riot Games Arena, you're in for a treat. We got a game 3.
45 kills in an absolute banger. The 10-kill Wukong as well, leading the way for Kisno. That's got to feel so satisfying for DSG, being such underdogs coming into this one, feeling like they had game 1 just in the bag, not having it, but coming back in game 2. Lounge, break this one down. How'd they do it?
How did they do it?
That is a fantastic question.
In 3 words or less, Raph.
Yeah.
Go.
Chaotic fights. I'll go for a 2. All right.